Welcome to Married to Portuguese. On each episode, my English-Irish husband, Bob, and I discuss and laugh about our life and adventures in the Portuguese culture.
Bom dia.
Bon dia.
I'm getting good at that.
You're getting really good, and I didn't jump. I didn't jump this time.
Thank goodness.
That's a lot.
People are starting to talk. They're starting to talk.
Every time it starts, the woman's jumping. I don't know. What is it?
Forcing you to do this.
Yes.
Forcing you. Well, 'tis the season.
It is. It's Christmas.
It is Christmas. We are fresh from a book signing,
Yeah.
and we had people talking to us about Christmas.
Yeah.
So we thought we would chat it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're down to coming into our final week of book signings and book events. And today was really nice. It was really sweet. And we were all talking about Christmas. So when we were coming home, we're like, okay, we're going to have to stop and have dinner. And because Maria did not prepare dinner.
But that's
Sorry.
okay. I had bacalhau. So
He did have bacalhau. So
good.
I'm
happy.
He's a happy camper.
I might fall asleep halfway through this. It's the hour, not the company.
Yes. And then as we're coming home, we're like, oh, let's record. Let's record today, and talk about just everything today and talking about Christmas. And there was a lot of questions besides doing a little, I did like a 15-minute talk, just a 15-minute. And the rest was just asking people to ask me anything they want. And we just talked about a whole bunch of stuff. But it all comes back to creating memories, keeping those childhood memories in trying to always recreating them, and just how special they are. I mean, I know my memories of Christmas past, they're just amazing. But I know for you, what was, I mean, let's put it this way. I'm going to ask you a question now. And that is, when you came into my family and seeing a Portuguese Christmas, what was the difference in a Portuguese Christmas versus an English-Irish Christmas that you had?
So I wouldn't say that I had a traditional English-Irish Christmas. I don't know what that looks like.
I don't know.
That's okay, but you said it that way.
I mean, that's who you are. You're English-Irish.
Well, that's my heritage. We weren't really raised strictly Irish or English.
Okay.
But I would say my impression of your Christmas was, holy mackerel, have you people got stamina?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the visitas starting to roll by around 9 p.m., Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then maybe some caroling, definitely some adult beverages.
Yes.
Then midnight mass.
Yep.
And then you get home and the party starts.
Yes.
And roll that through the night.
Yes.
Basically.
Yep. Yep.
And then Christmas lunch at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it just kind of goes into All
right. My Christmas was much more sedate.
There was no caroling before midnight mass and drinking and all that stuff.
But we didn't grow up around family. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. So we were usually traveling to be with family, and we had fun and loved spending all the time with family. So I want to make sure that gets across, even though there's differences. One's not better than the other.
Yes.
Need the legal disclaimer across the bottom of the screen. But we were not a midnight mass family. And so for us, Christmas Eve was much quieter. Maybe we'd open stockings or, a couple of gifts to each other because Santa hadn't come yet. Get a good night's sleep, our healthy 8 hours. And
then up in the morning.
And open all of our presents and, have our Christmas lunch. We'd probably go to service Christmas morning and then come back and have Christmas lunch.
Well, I can honestly say for those that are now marrying into someone who is Portuguese or has never experienced a Portuguese Christmas, all of the excitement for us, and I can only speak with my family and the majority of my friends and stuff, is that Christmas Eve is the big deal. Christmas Day is like, oh, we already, we celebrate.
But you had nothing left.
Yeah, we celebrate it the Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve to us was much more important than Christmas Day, because Christmas Eve, once again, how, the Italians have the 7 fishes. We have plenty of fish dishes, but we'd have, it would be all desserts, all kinds of stuff that we know we were going to have when we came home from midnight mass. That was the thing. And everything leading to midnight mass was like a party. And so it would be people coming around, and it would also be with the visitas, and they'd come to the door and sing, and they would ask the question, umanin mija. For us, that was what was said. Not everyone.
Explain what that means, please.
Umanin mija is the direct translation
don't pull any punches.
Is, does the boy pee? Yeah, that's the question they ask at the door.
Not an English question.
Not an English question. So what it really means is we're here, and do you have like beverages for us to give us? And I know
it makes no sense.
And then the person in the house would say, "Sim, o menino mija sempre na minha casa," which means the boy always pees in my house, which means there's always drinks flowing. So those were the things.
Who's this boy, by the way?
Well, it's the baby Jesus, I guess. I don't know. And so in all this, you would go, and then I've been on the opposite end. I've been on the end of opening the door for people to come in and give them the liqueurs and the little, little bonbons and biscuits and cookies, bolachas, whatever. And then they'd go off their merry way to the next house to do it. But I've also been in that opposite side where I've gone door to door, and having the people ask in the front, "Menino mija," and everyone's like, "Say."
Okay, so that was happening here in the U.S. Does this happen in the Azores also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was a tradition that carried over.
That carried over in here. And so I remember especially going with my sister's married brothers. So, and their family was really into celebrating even more than my mom and my dad did. And that was, they would literally have like makeshift instruments, and they would go door to door with, pots and pans and, as the drum. And then it would be, somebody would have a guitar somewhere. I don't know where it comes. Then there'd always be that one person with the accordion. And then there'd be spoons. I mean,
so
a bell.
Circus folk is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Circus folk.
Yes. And it was so much fun. And we'd go to the next, we'd walk. We'd never, this isn't in the car, folks. We'd be walking, because every family and friend.
Because everybody was drunk. Too drunk to drive.
Well, that too. But, I mean, at that point, you would do all that, and then you would, at the end, it would be, oh, it's time to go to midnight mass. And you would walk to church and...
Or stagger.
Or stagger, yes. And then you're there at midnight mass, which is a very long mass.
So long.
It's such a long mass. And I would be like,
Everybody is like that.
I'd be like this. And of course, my mom and dad, who did not go caroling and doing all that stuff.
Good people.
Yeah. They'd be like, doing one of these, or I'd get a pinch. Those pinches, those twisted.
You don't have to pinch me under the table.
Oh my goodness. Those painful pinches just to get you up, because, like you're falling asleep at church. You can't do that. But then, once everything was done, the bells are ringing, everything is going, sometimes it'd be snowing, like a little bit of, that was like really like amazing when that would happen. We'd come out of church at midnight mass, and it was like a light flurries. It was just always so magical. And then we'd walk up the street back home And then that's when all the food was on the table, all the desserts, all family would come over. We would be opening gifts after. We would be eating, drinking. Just, it was like nonstop. It was just nonstop. And then it was, I know when my dad would have a little bit too much, he would sing, oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. We knew it was getting to be already time to kind of stop things when my dad was singing that. But that was Christmas for me. So when we got together, you were like, Christmas Day.
Yes, you open gifts Christmas Day.
And I'm like, no, Christmas Eve. Because that's how I was raised. It was always Christmas Eve. It was, you celebrate everything Christmas Eve. And Christmas Day is like, oh, you're going to have lunch, a late lunch after, when everybody there because you've eaten and you've partied all night the night before. So that's, and when we had our first child, our first daughter, it was like, she's opening gifts at night, Christmas Eve. And you're like, no, it's Christmas Day. Santa comes.
You wake up Christmas morning, you open your gifts.
And I'm like, no, it's there already.
But when we first got married, we hosted Christmas Eve. So before people would go to Christmas mass, midnight mass.
We also had them over.
We'd have them over.
Yes, we've done that. We did that a long time.
We went a few years to Christmas midnight mass.
Yes.
Too late for me. I can't stay awake.
Yeah. It was not for you.
No.
It was not for you. And you were like, no, I don't want to go. It's too late. It's too much. I can't.
I wanted to be away in a manger. That's what I wanted.
So those were those little things. But depending on, like, if you're Italian, it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve.
Well,
It's the
I'm
feast
not
of
Italian either.
I know, but I'm just saying for those out there. And today we met someone who was half Portuguese, half Italian. And it's like, oh my God, what a great combination. Because a lot of it is, very similar. But then today I found a lot of Irish Portuguese. I find that a lot.
Good people.
It's a good combination too. It's a very good combination, the Portuguese Irish too. So, but yeah, no, I don't know why I brought the combinations together.
I don't know.
It means nothing of what was going on, but Christmas Eve, that's, to me, that was, and it still is to this day.
Yeah. See, when we get together with family, I was young.
Yeah.
Really young. So if we did anything particular Christmas Eve night, I don't remember. I would have been sent to bed.
Oh, okay.
Because,
Whereas,
you got to be asleep because Santa's coming.
Okay.
Right? So the kids were all sent to bed. Then you wake up and hopefully you wake up to some snowfall. And some presents under the tree and unwrap, and everybody has a cup of coffee and hangs out and opens the gifts and a little bit of breakfast.
Oh no, we sleep in.
Well,
Sunday.
you were sleeping it off.
That's a good way to put it. But we would sleep in Sunday morning, or the Christmas morning, I should say, Christmas morning. And
I like the idea of all of that. It's too much.
It's too much for you.
It should start at like 3 p.m. and be done by 8.
Yeah, no. That's not it. That's not it. So yeah, so for those coming into it for the first time, that's what you're going to be prepared for. Prepare yourself.
Yeah, prepare to be not well rested. See, I'm from a well-rested race of people. There's a time and place for everything. And don't impinge on my sleep time.
And I love my sleep too, but I'm more of a night owl than you are.
Well, I'm an early bird.
You're an early bird. I am not.
By the time you get up, half the day's over.
For you, yes.
Well, for most people.
Oh.
For most people.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Just because you like to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I don't like to. That's just the time that I get up
For
now.
me, that's like, oh my God, I can't.
Well, you stay up to all hours, like 10 o'clock.
The other night, I think I went to bed after midnight. And I know. I went to bed after midnight. And so I get into bed, and of course you're just sleeping. And then the next morning he's like, "What time did you get up? What time did you get to bed?" I'm like, "Oh, after midnight." And he's like, "Oh, how could you do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I could have kept going. I could have 1 o'clock. I'd have no problem."
Why?
Because I have no problem with that.
There's a perfectly good bed, pillow, blankets. Just calling your name.
Yeah, no.
Maria. Maria.
Oh my God.
Rest your head.
Oh my God. Okay, we're going now somewhere else here. I think we've reached that.
That's Christmas Eve for us.
That is Christmas Eve
That's
for
our Christmas
us.
Eve story. All right.
So
thank you, everybody.
thank you. Have a wonderful one. And whether you have a Portuguese Christmas Eve or you have an English-Irish Christmas Eve
Or a well-rested Christmas Eve.
or a party Christmas Eve, have an amazing Christmas Eve, amazing Christmas to everyone. I know we're saying this a little bit earlier than just before Christmas because we still have about a week or so to go, but we want to make sure that you know how much we appreciate you, how much we appreciate all of you and watching and the feedback we get. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to hear your ideas for topics. Ciao.